Hi everyone. The WordPress login is the most attacked part of any WordPress site. Unfortunately, creating a bot that will roam the internet committing brute force attacks doesn't require very much skill, and any beginner level attacker can create one. Because attacks on the WordPress login page have such a low barrier of entry, WordPress login security is crucial to secure any WordPress site. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 simple rules for WordPress login security. Rule number 1, use strong passwords. Your password should be a minimum of 12 characters and should include a large pool to choose from. Using only lowercase letters limits the possible pool of characters to 26, so you should definitely include alphanumeric, uppercase letters, and Kami ASCII characters to increase the pool of characters needed to crack the password to 92. You should also be using a unique password for every single account. Rule 2. You should be using a different password on every single site. If you use the same password for every site and one of those sites is compromised, you are now using a compromised password for every single account on every single site. Hackers can use data dumps of compromised passwords paired with your email address or username to gain access to your account. It's best not to even take the risk. The more users you have that are just reusing passwords, the weaker your WordPress login security will be. In a list compiled by Splash Data, the most common password included in all database dumps is 123456. Now that is not very secure. So the WordPress login security on your site is only as strong as the weakest link. So be proactive with your strong password requirements. You can protect WordPress from compromised passwords with a plugin like iTheme Security Pro. iTheme Security Pro takes advantage of the Have I Been Pwned API to detect whether or not a password has appeared in a data breach. If the password has been included in a data breach, it will be refused and the user will be asked to create a new one. I would also suggest using a password manager like LastPass to generate and safely secure all of your strong passwords. Rule number 3 is to limit login attempts. By default, there isn't anything built into WordPress to limit the number of failed log attempts someone can make. Without a limit on the number of failed login attempts an attacker can make, they can keep trying an endless number of usernames and passwords until they are successful. You should use a WordPress security plugin like iTheme Security Pro to limit the number of invalid login attempts an attacker can make before they're banned from the site. Rule number 4 is to limit outside authentication attempts per request. There are other ways to log into WordPress besides using a login form. Using XML-RPC, an attacker can make hundreds of usernames and password attempts in a single HTTP request. Using iTheme Security Pro's WordPress tweak settings, you can block multiple authentication attempts per XML-RPC request. Limiting the number of username and password attempts to 1 for every request will go a long way in securing your WordPress login. Rule number 5 is to use two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is the absolute best thing you can do to increase your WordPress login security. Two-factor authentication requires an extra code along with your WordPress username and password to log in. Now, while any method of two-factor is better than none, there are some that are better than the others. If possible, I would avoid using text messages to receive your authentication tokens. The mobile app method of two-factor will do the most to increase your WordPress login security. The extra authentication code that is required to log in will be sent to the user's phone. So if an attacker gains access to the WordPress username and email credentials, there will still be no way for them to log in. Well, that concludes our 5 rules for better WordPress login security. I'm also including a link in the description to a blog post that covers the same topic. The post includes a checklist you can use when securing your WordPress login. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos and tutorials about all things WordPress.